So I thought today I would come to you and kind of explain like my work day. I can't really film at my job because I work in a hospital and there are laws that prohibit like sharing patient information. So I thought I would just kind of come at you with like my work routine, if that makes sense. I'll just get started. So first thing I do is I get up. I usually work just Saturday, Sundays. So I'm weekend option, part-time. So I get paid more because I've dedicated every weekend to work. So I go into work and hold on. Come on. We have a guest. Yes, we do. So I go to work on Saturdays and Sundays, and then if I want to, I can pick up extra time on the weekends, during the week if my schoolwork is good or easy of that week. I am going back to school to get my master's, so I'm working on that during the week, and then I go to work on the weekends. Lay down. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, so I get up on Saturdays. I get up around 4:15. On Sundays, I get up like 4:30-ish. It just kind of depends on like how late I was up the night before. But both days I get up. I take out Wheatley, who's my dog. I take him out, let him go to the bathroom, come back in, and sometimes I'll make coffee. Sometimes I'm not really in the mood for coffee right first thing in the morning, so I will just get ready and then make my coffee to go. It kind of just depends. But then if I'm making my coffee, I'll make my coffee and then I sit down and do like a devotional on my phone or something like that I know is kind of shorter. And then I get ready, which I might need to do an updated like get ready with me like work routine, which maybe I'll come at you soon with that. Stop. Sorry. So anyways, so then after I get ready, if I'm packing my lunch, I'll have my lunch packed and ready, and then I'll put it into my work bag. And then if I don't pack my lunch, then I'll just leave. I leave for work around 5:30 to get there at 5:45, so I can look up all my patients and just kind of know like what's going on with each of them. Anyway, so I look up my patients, and I got a piece of paper, and I might show like a better preview. I'm just gonna go up kind of like that. Okay, so at the top I had put my patient labels there. It gives me when they're admitted, who the doctor is, their name, anything like that. And then over here I have what room they're in, what code status they are, like if they're in any isolation, any allergies, that kind of thing. And then here I put where they came from. Usually it's home. Sometimes it's from a facility or like a nursing home or a rehab or something like that. And then where they're going. And I'll try to put the date if I know, but sometimes I just don't know. And then here I put like what like so whenever like on the charting system I have, it says like what they're in for. So it might be like it might say like pneumonia. So then I'll put pneumonia, but then I draw an arrow for like what brought them to the ER, because sometimes their diagnosis is different than like what actually brought them. So like I've had a patient before, they came in with pneumonia, but like that was their diagnosis, but what actually brought them there was abdominal pain. Like kind of different, you know? Then I have like past medical history. All of this is like possible histories people could have, and then what I do is I just circle anything that is pretty like pertinent. Sometimes things aren't like super pertinent, or like hypertension and high cholesterol, high blood pressure and high cholesterol, those are all things that are like very common, and so like everyone has that pretty much, you know what I mean? Not really, but a majority of people around here have that. Anyway, so then I have any consults right here. And then here I have like labs, and then here I start with diet stuff and if they're blood sugars. And then here is like my to-do list, so my assessments, if how they get up, if they're turn rounding. So, and where I work, the nurses round on the even hours, so I have the even hours. And then techs are like aides round on the odd hours. And then I have any like their lines here, and then here I have like my assessment stuff. So to start at the top, I have like the neuro stuff, I have their lungs and respiratory, I have their heart, their GI, and their urinary, and then even musculoskeletal. It's not very like much, but it's just enough for me to know like, okay, if they're confused, are they combative, or oh, did they, I don't know, you know what I mean, or like heart stuff, if they have anything weird going on. And then I have like, kind of goes with the labs, but it's like tests, so like x-rays, stuff like that. And then here I have skin and wounds and drains. So skin is a big issue at our hospital. We have actually really worked on like reducing like pressure ulcers and stuff like that. So it's, I don't know, I just made a big deal. And then I have my medications down here at the bottom. The times, like the most common times, I usually try to cluster my care. So I'll try to just go in, if possible, like on my hours I'm supposed to round and like do everything all at that time. Doesn't always work out, but that's just like what I try to do. And then I have this huge thing at the bottom for report. So what I'll do is I'll write like anything I feel is pertinent from report that doesn't fit in anywhere else down here. And then I'll probably draw a line or something and like to differ between the 2 days. I also change my colors. So when I do this initial paper, everything is in black and red. So red is like my labs, my imaging, and then IVs or any wounds and drains, stuff like that. Stuff to remind me that I need to like have done. Like wounds, I need to be reminded that I need to check those, and sometimes drains are kind of hidden, and so I write them in red so that way I remember to check them. And then like I'll pick a color of the day. Usually on Sundays I do purple because I don't know, I just contribute purple to like God. So it's just, I don't know. And then on Saturdays I'll kind of mix it up. Green is my favorite color, so sometimes I'll do that one, but I just kind of change it to where it's like different. But yeah, so that's my paper, and I fill this out on every patient that I have, or I try to. So then we have to be clocked in right before 6:30, and then we do a safety huddle, which is like 5 minutes, and it's like we're all of like my day shift, because I work days, people come together and we do like, it's called safety huddle, but we talk about like most frequent bed alarms and like procedures and stuff like that. And then we have this huge board in our like in this room that we do safety huddle in, it has everyone's assignments, and then like if they have any like IV drips going on or anything like that, it's like on the board, if that makes sense. And we just kind of go through like quick things, and then we break and we go to get our report from our night shift nurses. So report usually lasts about 30 minutes, where I get started around 7 to start seeing my 4 to 5 patients. Depends on the day and how short we are. In a perfect world, we all have 4 and our charge nurse has none. So, yeah. Anyway, so I get my report and then I start seeing my patients, and we have to try to have all of our patients seen before 9. Doesn't always work out, but usually most days I have that done. So I go in, I get my vitals, I assess my patient, so I listen to like their heart and their lungs, their belly. I asked them when their last bowel movement was, if it was normal. If they have anything like specific going on, then I will like check that specific thing, if that makes sense. So like if like we don't care for stroke patients, but if I were to have a stroke patient and that were to be my specialty, I would probably do like a neuro assessment, and like a stroke scale and stuff like that. But we don't do that. So I also grab my blood sugars too at this hour, if that's possible. And then I give meds. I go through all my meds with my patients. It doesn't matter if I've had them before or not. I always go through everything I'm giving them, and I make sure they understand why they're taking their meds, especially if they're new. I try to provide education if possible. So I do that for every patient. Usually it takes me like 20-ish minutes. It depends on the patient. Sometimes they have to get up and go to the bathroom, or they want to go and do something or whatever. So it might take me a little bit longer, but it just kind of depends. So I do that until 9, and then at 9 it's breakfast time. And a lot of us will go down then because at the hospital I work at, they offer a free drink from 9 to 10 for staff. So I'll go down, and sometimes I'll get a free drink and I'll get something to eat. Sometimes I bring food. Just kind of depends how I feel. Anyways, then I come back in at 10 o'clock after round. So I'll do my rounding, and sometimes I'll get my 11 o'clock vitals. I'll start doing those. If I start rounding kind of late, then I'll go ahead and grab some of my vitals at 10:30. Then really right from there, it just kind of depends. Like, we have to do baths and stuff like that. A lot of our tech, like our aides, which I call tech because that's what they're patient care tech. But anyways, they are responsible for baths and stuff like that, but sometimes there's one of them in like 12 patients. So I will try to help with a bath if possible. And if we have like a total bed bath, like where the patient is bed bound and they can't get out of bed, then I will help them with their bath. Like doing the whole bed bath and changing the sheets and all of that. So we do that, and then like kind of in the morning too, and any turns and stuff like that, we have to do every 2 hours. Usually we do them on the even hours because that's when a lot of like things get done, is on the even hours. And then at 12 o'clock, I start my rounding again, and I just start making sure all my patients have lunch ordered. If their blood sugars, I will kind of see where they are, like tray-wise, like what time that's going to be brought up, so then I know when I can go into round and get their blood sugar before their tray gets up there, because they have to have their blood sugar taken before they eat. So, yeah. And then it depends on like my day. If I am discharging a lot of patients, then I will eat around 1. If I'm not and have a lot of reassessments to do, then I will try, it depends on like my day exactly, but I'll try to start doing my reassessments around 1:30 and passing my 2 o'clock meds then, because usually around 3 I pick up another patient, which puts me at 5. Like I said, if I'm discharging a lot, then I'll go ahead and eat, because I want to make sure I'm able to eat and sustained in order to like kind of keep up with the fast pace of discharging and getting a new patient. A lot of times I'll get an afternoon admission sometime in the afternoon. If I didn't pick up a patient, then that's my next task. Sometimes I'll pick up a patient and I'll discharge and I'll still get an admission. It just kind of depends on how busy our floor is. But yeah, really from there, it's kind of smooth sailing. So after I do my reassessments and I eat lunch, I will start rounding again around 4. And sometimes I'll start passing some of my 5 o'clock meds. Sometimes I don't. It just kind of depends on like what I have due and what I don't have due. But I always round. And then I kind of start making sure patients have their orders in for supper. If I can put them in for supper, I will. And then I let people eat, and then around 6 I will do like a quick swoop, and I'll pick up trays and just make sure everyone's good before I give handoff report at 6:30-ish, to hopefully be out of there by 7. So that is about like my day. Again, every day is different, and some days things happen, and some days are great, some days are not great. It just kind of depends. Sometimes you have families who are very like overwhelming, and they ask for a lot that you can't really do, and sometimes you have doctors who are like that, who ask you to do things that you're just like, is this even like in my job description? And that's when I call charge nurse and clarify a lot of things, just because I don't want anything to like happen, but anyways, I thought I would walk you guys through this. A day, like I said, I'm not allowed to really like take you through it in the hospital, and it kind of makes me uncomfortable to film like within patient like rooms and stuff like that. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've only filmed like in our break room kind of thing, away from patients, because I don't want anything to happen where I can get in trouble. So if you liked this video, or you want something more like this where I sit down and talk more about, you know, what a day in the life is like, or maybe I do a Q&A or something like that, give it a thumbs up so I know what to do, or so I know to do more of these. And I will see you guys next time. Have a good day. Bye.